This is way overdue. This is episode number 2, and this is basically just a short explanation of my story, my feelings around the police department, and also BLM. This is episode 2, and hello everyone. This is Eunice, and welcome to the 2E Way podcast. And the reason for this podcast, by God's grace, is to promote growth by providing thought journeys with others while provoking charity in all things. I have been meaning to do this for at least for a couple of months. At my job, I had an opportunity to kind of share a little bit of my story there. And I actually taped it, but I think I deleted it off my computer, so I don't really have it any longer. So I'm going to try my best to try to recall some of the things that I shared with them at work. And I'm going to share how it even came about. I was actually hosting a meeting on a Friday one day, and basically I had, after the meeting ended maybe 15 or 20 minutes earlier than it normally does. And so basically I decided to just say, in light of what's going on in the world and based on the email that we got from our CEO, I wanted to share my story of my experience being Black in America, right? And I said, if anybody's interested in staying on, because I'm closing this call, but if anyone is interested in hearing my story, just stay on the line. And I had some people to stay on the line. Some people probably hung up their phones but kept the browser open. So in a Skype chat, it was like 8 participants in the chat, but it may not have been 8 people on the phone. After the call, I did get like 3 or 4 people responding to me while I was on the call just before we got off. One of the guys was like saying, "You really need to share this with the rest of our group," So it was kind of funny. And I thought, no big deal. Let's not go there type of thing. But my manager reached out to me because the guy actually reached out to our manager and he told him what happened on the Friday call and said, you really need to get Eunice on one of our calls and let her share her thoughts on BLM and the police department. So they allowed me to get back on the call, and he gave me time during our staff meeting to share some things. So one of the things I try to start out basically saying that we all have unique stories, right? We all come from different backgrounds, and that all of our stories are unique. Our experiences are unique to each one of us. And I sort of started there. And then I talked a little bit about just my experience with the police department. I have been pulled over by state troopers. Here where I live, our city police. And all the times I got pulled over, they were justified pullovers. Most of them were speeding. Actually, all of them were speeding except for one of them. The one where my license plate had expired. I had the license plate decal in my glove compartment. I just never put it on because I needed to remove that guard or whatever the license plate guard thing that I got from the dealer when I bought the car, and I need to remove it, and I never took the time to remove it, so it was there. And this was the first time that I had a police officer, and that was in a city, and I got pulled over like a block from my house, and I told him why I didn't have it on there. He basically took it off and he put my sticker on my car for me. So that is the first time I had experienced the whole protect and serve. So the service that I got from my local police officer. And like I said, all the other times were speeding. And with the speedings, I basically All of them were justified for sure. And I did get one ticket. All the other ones were warnings. And so, but I've never had any bad experience from any cops ever. And in Virginia, in North Carolina, is where I've gotten pulled over. I've never gotten pulled over in any other state, just those two states. I am originally from Arkansas, and I left there when I was 17. So in the whole time there, I never had any experience with police officers there either, in a negative way for sure. I just didn't have any. And plus, I was somebody that didn't really, I didn't get in much trouble anyway, okay? So, but I was listening to somebody's, on Facebook, and this lady was just, she was just bawling, she was crying. And she said when she gets pulled over by the cops, that it becomes almost a 45-minute experience for her. And I thought that was really odd. And she shared it with her husband, according to her story. She shared it with him, and he was saying that's not normal. And I most definitely agree with him. I've been pulled over, and most of the time I've gotten pulled over. Oh yeah, I forgot. I did get pulled over in a neighborhood, and I think this has happened at least 3 or 4 times, because our church was in a pretty bad neighborhood a long time ago. The church I used to go to a long time ago. Basically, they do ID check, okay? So I had got pulled over for ID check because I guess they were looking for somebody. And I think that's happened like 2 or 3 times. And even one time, my purse and my ID was in the trunk of my car. And I remember telling the cop, it's in the trunk of my car. So I had to get out of my car and get it out of the trunk. And he said a lot of people are starting to put their purses, or women are putting their purses in the trunk. He said he sees that a lot. And but never was suspicious about me doing this, or I didn't feel like I had to tell him everything I was doing. Like he said, give me your license and registration. And I told him my license was in the trunk of the car. He said, okay. So I went and got it. I didn't have to tell him or narrate everything I was doing. He told me to do something. I just did it. I just do it. So I don't know why people think that they need to coach the cop. And maybe it's where I'm from. In North Carolina, I don't see the need to do that. When the cop tell you to do something, you just be like, okay, here you go. You just do it. I don't see why you want to say, I'm reaching over here in my purple purse that's sitting on the armrest. I don't see why that's necessary. It just doesn't make sense, right? So I'm a law-abiding citizen. He gives me a command. I just do the command. He's watching me. He's watching me do this. So as long as I know I didn't do anything wrong, he gave me a command. I execute the command. And that's all I did. I didn't really have to narrate every step that I was taking. So I thought that was really odd that she decided to handle it like that. And she said she'd instruct her daughter to do it the same thing. I'm like thinking to myself, now when I do get pulled over by the cops, I do get a little bit scared. And this is because you never know what's going to happen, right? So I do be a little bit scared, but it's not because I'm thinking that he's going to kill me or I'm not going to make it home safe. And I don't act like I'm crazy or nervous to the point where I know I didn't do anything. I mean, of course, if I got caught speeding, I deserve a ticket, right? So I know I deserve a ticket, and that's all that's warranted for this stop. Nothing else, because I know my license plate is up to date. Car inspected, is already paid or whatever. I pay my insurance every month. My license, my actual driver's license are up to date. I don't have any outstanding tickets. So why would it not be just a simple little routine traffic stop, right? So don't make it more than what it is. And so this is way more than I wanted to say. This really is way more than I want to say. But since I went there, I do want to say this. When you're talking about the purpose of the police and the possibility of defunding that, the value that they bring, the law and order that they bring, they punish the evildoer. They protect the innocent. That's what they do. They put themselves in harm's way. They run to danger when people have the reaction to run away from danger. And we need people like that. And also, they help to, when it comes to criminals, some people, the cops have actually discouraged people from being criminals. You know what I'm saying? And they are, sometimes they get into the little counseling role and mentorship role and everything like that. So they are very important backbone to our society when you're talking about law and order. Without them, the chaos that we would have here, and basically that just leads me into the BLM, right, which is antithetical to law and order. They're the opposite. You're talking about chaos. You're talking about hating black men. Well, at least the alpha males. I'm pretty sure they're okay with soy boys or beta boys. But men, men that stand up for truth and for their families, I think they hate them. And BLM is most definitely was started by some black lesbians who admitted to, being community organizers, being Marxists, at least two of them. And it's very interesting that to be a Marxist is also to be a person who is like, wanting to have a culture without any, especially not any Christian values or conservative values, but it's more basically trying to break down the society, all the values of society. And it's called a revolution, right? Where you want to take everything, deconstruct every system that we have in place, anywhere from the family, okay, the church, and those kind of things. So So basically, it's a very, very dangerous concept for sure. Very dangerous concept. And we've seen, if you've seen the news and those kind of things, you most definitely will notice a push, right? And what sparked this, and it's close to election, do not think that that's coincidence, okay? Do not think that that's not a coincidence, that we are here now in an election year. Same thing when Obama was for re-election. You had they found a narrative that they wanted to push. And here we are now with this new narrative with the George Floyd incident, that one of the interesting things about that is the fact that they gave us exactly, well, at least let us know how we're supposed to feel about it. Now, I know everybody felt pretty angry about it. Now, I don't like to get quick into my emotions. I really don't. So when I first seen it, I decided that the best thing to do is just wait for all the information to come out. And then I should say more information to come out, because it may not be all information. But even when all the information or more information come out, that doesn't mean that all the information provided is all the information I need to make a judgment call. It may not have everything I need for me to make a judgment. So I cannot judge it, meaning the emotions I feel about what happened, didn't matter, and don't matter. It didn't matter how I felt about what happened to George Floyd. It just didn't matter. So, one thing is, it did not impact my day-to-day life. It just didn't. And even if you deal with the statistics, right, of how many black people are killed by, or let's say unarmed black men are killed by cops, we're not seeing this. This is not a problem in this country. Because I think, I don't want to get into any statistics. I don't think this is a good place for it here. First of all, is because I don't have the statistics in front of me, and I'm for sure I just make up some numbers. So I don't want to make up any numbers. Okay, so I think we can, and I'm pausing here apparently because, so on my job, I did share a little bit about BLM, and basically, and one of the things I did say that I did not say here is, and maybe I should say it here right now, is Black Lives Matter. Why do we have so many abortions? And why so many black people kill each other? And the danger, it's more dangerous for a baby to be in a mother's womb than any place on earth. You're more likely, more likely as a black person, I'm more likely to be killed by another black person than I am by a cop, or even get struck by lightning, or maybe to die by the coronavirus. Okay, let's put it that way. I'm probably more likely to be shot and killed by a black man than I am dying from the coronavirus. So I'm thinking that we do need to slow down. We do need to critically think through things. And then we also need to realize sometimes how I feel about it just does not matter. So, and that's a hard thing to really think about, right? To say that my feelings does not matter. How I feel about this just does not matter. And one of the things I'm trying to do nowadays, due to the fact that the news wants to dictate how I feel about something and how I react to something, I refuse to allow them that power over me. I don't want them telling me what I should be feeling and how I'm supposed to feel about this. I don't want them doing that. And I also do not want somebody trying to tell me how I am to show that Black Lives Matter to me. So if Black Lives Matter to me and all lives matter to me, I don't need you to tell me how I am to express that their life matters to me, okay? So I don't have to put up a sign in my yard that says Black Lives Matter. I don't have to put something in my window that says that. I don't have to give money to any organization, and I don't even have to go down to the street and do anything. I don't have to. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. And one more thing too, especially as when you're having white people to bow down to black people, it made me think about, now somebody helped me come to this conclusion, because when I heard it, I was like, it was disturbing to me. And at the same time, I just could not quite put it in a category, or think about it biblically. So go with me here. We in Revelation, we're John the Revelator there. He's seeing some great things that the angel is showing him, and he gets so excited and he wants to bow down to this angel. The angel says, "Do not do that. I am one of the fellow servants. We only bow down and we only worship God." So when you, as a black person, has a white person to bow down to you, you're basically saying, bow down to me because I'm God. So we need to be careful when we are looking to the world to try to tell us how we are to react to things, how we're supposed to respond to things. This I'm gonna make one more comment about the world trying to tell me how I am to show love to my neighbor, and which has nothing to do with this, but I'm gonna put it here anyway. For instance, wearing the mask. To wear my mask is to show love to my neighbor, I'm told. But they are the same people that told me that a woman has a right to do with her body as she wants. She can murder a baby and it's okay because we say it's okay. We say it's okay. They are the same people that's telling me that the way I show love to my neighbor is to wear a mask is the same person that tells me that you should be able to love whomever you want to love. If you're a man and you love another man, you have the right to love that man and marry that man. It is good to be with somebody that makes you happy. So these people who are telling me those things are the same people that's trying to tell me how to love my neighbor. I don't need them to tell me how to love my neighbor. God's word tells me how to love my neighbor. So you're trying to tell me, you're trying to take the place of God in my life. And I don't think I know it's not right. Okay. But this is not new. This is not something that I should be, think that is strange. This is most definitely what the world has been trying to do for the longest. We see it in our media. And I feel as though I'm going on into another subject, down a rabbit hole. So I am going to stop here because this video was mainly about my take on BLM, which I think is an arm of the Democratic Party. I think BLM and Antifa have taken the place of the KKK because it looks like it's more acceptable to the world than the KKK with the white hoods. They look like they just trade them for black hoods, okay? So, and black mask and different things like that. And they talk about what they do is justified. And all the chaos that goes with it. And one of the things too, especially about BLM being community organizers. When I think community organizer, I think organizing chaos. I think that's what they do. They find ways to organize chaos. I do not see them being in a community doing good work. Now, I notice some people that may be involved in these movements that are there for good intentions. But as far as the organization itself, if you go, just look up on their website, look around at the different chapters. And I don't know how many chapters it is. I don't remember how many it is. And these lesbian women and I'm not against lesbian women or saying the reason why it's so corrupt is they are lesbian women. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that it is anti men, strong men, okay? Like I said, I'm pretty sure they're okay with soy boys or beta males. So that is my opinion on these matters. And I've even put a little bit of facts in there because it is a fact. One of the founders, she even mentioned that they study the ideology that, that drives them is Marxism. So that is not anything that's hidden. That's something they have made known to everyone. And then the fact that, but the community organizer comment there, to me, that is my opinion that it's organized chaos. Okay. So that is it for this here episode. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. There's more I could say on this particular subject. And, but this is just a small snippet of it. And there is more that if I had the facts written down and those kind of the statistics and everything. But I do want to say one thing about statistics. I've heard somebody mention this, and I'm going to end with this here little statement. Statistics. I actually forgot the quote now. I don't even remember. Um, Statistics are, it has good information. It has data. I can't even remember how it goes. But we know liars use statistics, okay? Statistics are it's good data and that kind of thing. But liars, they're going to use statistics to come up with stuff. So, and I really, really messed that up. If I can think of the quote that somebody had told me, I will try to mention it in another video. But on this one here, it was so wrong. But thanks you so much for spending your time with me at episode 2. Thank you.